everybody, how's it going? So today's video, I thought we would take a look at my friend here, the low profile bait casting reel. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I do have a video on the characteristics of a spinning reel. So I thought I would do one on its friend here. Over the last little while, I've been helping people select, of course, fishing equipment, outfitting them for their fishing adventures. And I notice a lot of people who want to purchase their first bait casting reel really have no idea about how to use it, the features that are on it, and how it works, and where would you benefit from using a bait casting reel versus a spinning reel. Now, I'm going to do a video on how to use the bait casting reel. Not today. This one is purely to talk about the features, because I feel that topic on how to use it would benefit greatly from having its own video. So today's video is simply going to be some of the features that you will find peculiar to this type of reel. Now, we know that fishing reels, they all do the same thing, right? They are a mechanical means of managing your fishing line. The fish, however, don't care what type of reel you're using. The reel is for the benefit of the angler. All right, so you hear stories, well, I was told that using a bait casting reel was a lot better than a spinning reel. It depends on the application. Each reel is designed to be used in specific applications, and I'm going to go over that now. The fish don't give a damn. They really don't. They only care about what you're offering them. All right, so let's take a closer look at this reel. So here we have it. You can see this is the reel that sits on top of the handle. All right, you can see it gets its name because it is a low profile reel. It fits very nicely in your hand, and there's a reason for that. It was designed to do it. This reel was designed with bass anglers in mind. Bass anglers want a reel that they can handle easily and quickly and retrieve fast and cast fast, because that is the type of fishing when it comes to bass fishing. Now, although it was designed for the bass angler in mind, it can still be used for other species. But it is a great reel for what's called search casting, and that's when you're kind of casting in a fan, or fan casting is also known. You cast out, reel, cast out, reel, cast out, reel, cast out, reel. And these reels usually have a very high gear ratio. This particular one does have a gear ratio of 7.5 to 1. That means for every one rotation of this handle, this spool is going to spin 7.5 times. That is an uptake of 31 inches of line. So it is a fast retrieving line. And that is something bass anglers really like. They want that fast retrieving line. They want that fast uptake to get that fish. So this is what this reel is for. I want you to take note of the handle here. Usually 99.9% of the reels come with a double handle on it. That's to help with the torque you might need to bring in a heavy fish. All right, these handles on these reels are permanently affixed. You cannot unscrew them and put them on the other side. This reel comes in either a left-hand retrieve or a right-hand retrieve. So depending on what one you want, you're going to have to check the packaging. If it's not stated on the packaging what retrieve it is, open it up and take a look. Some people can only work with a left-handed retrieve or a right-handed retrieve. I'm one of those lucky people. I've got both a left and right-handed retrieve because I can cast and switch very easily, or just simply cast and retrieve. So this is a left-hand retrieve, which is the way I retrieve with my spinning reels, but I also don't have a problem switching to do a right-hand retrieve as well. But some people struggle with that. So don't forget, check the packaging. If it's not on the package, open up and take a look at the reel to see what the retrieve handle, where it's situated on the body, all right? Because you cannot take these off. So while we're on this area, let's take a closer look here. We've got the handle. Underneath, we've got this star type of reel underneath here. This is your drag. Now we know what drag is. That is to add tension to the line as it's being pulled off the reel by a surging fish. You can add more tension to make it stiffer. You can take it off to make it looser. On a spinning reel, it's usually located on the cap or on the butt end of the reel. On a bait caster, it is located under the handle. Now, what's so great about this position here is that you can adjust your drag on this reel using the same hand that you are retrieving with. And that is another thing that bass anglers like, that they can make adjustments by using their index finger or their thumb to add on or subtract their drag while they're retrieving. So that's another benefit. That's a benefit that this reel does offer. Another thing I want you to notice is right here. Just let me move the handle. We've got this switch, this dial right here. This is a line tension adjustment knob. This has nothing to do with the drag. This is the knob that you use to make your adjustments when you're setting up your reel. Now, I'm going to go through that in my other video when I show you about the casting, how to set up your casting reel so that you can cast with it properly. This is the knob you would use to add or take away tension on the line when you're setting up with your different lures, weights, etc. All right, I'll get into that more when I do the demonstration video. Okay, now we come down here to this part of the reel. We have the reel release button. That is the button that's depressed when you cast. When it's pushed down, it's disengaged. To re-engage it, this is when you turn the handle and it pops back up. Now, on some low-profile bait casters, you'll find a switch that is located on the plate. This is called a flipping switch. This switch, when you turn it on, when it's in the on position, when you press down this reel release switch here, button here, in the on position, that button will automatically pop back up the moment you take your thumb off the reel. In the off position, you have to turn the handle for that to release. So when the flipping switch is on, you just have to lift your thumb up and the reel release will pop back into position. When it's off, you have to turn the handles to release it. Now, what this flipping switch does, or flip switch, is it allows you to do something called flipping and jigging. This is, especially if you're using top water baits and you want to get, that frog on top of that lily pad and flip it off. This is where something like a flip switch would work for you. But a lot of people have decided that this is also a great way to learn to use a low-profile bait casting reel because it helps you avoid backlashes. I'm going to advise you not to teach yourself to use the reel with the flipping switch on. Learn to use the reel properly. It's like driving a car. You learn to drive an automatic, but you never learn to use a stick shift. Then all of a sudden one day you have to use a stick shift. What happens? You don't know how to do it properly. You don't know how to drive it. You've got to learn all over again how to shift the gears. Well, that's basically the same analogy with a reel that has a flip switch. Nothing wrong with that feature. Not many reels have it, and that's why you should learn to use this reel properly and not rely on the flip switch as a way to get out of backlashes. Now, while we're talking about a backlash, what is that? Well, this reel is subject to something called inertia. And inertia, as you know, is an object that all of a sudden starts to move or stops. For example, when you're in a car, you hit the brakes, the car stops, but you keep going forward. That's why you need a safety belt. Or if you take off very quickly, the car goes forward and you go backwards. That's inertia. When it comes to this reel, what happens is after you cast, and this is where the thumb comes in, when the line stops moving forward and hits the water, the reel still continues to spin because of inertia. That's why you must keep your thumb there to help control the reel, to stop the reel from spinning when it hits the water so you don't backlash. And backlashes are simply, or bird's nest is when the line just bundles up because the reel is still spinning and it bundles up. And this is what they look like. And these aren't photoshopped. This is what can happen. And it's not that it might happen when you're using a casting reel. It will happen. I guarantee it. It will happen. That's why there's a learning curve in how to use this reel. This is what gets people frustrated when they have to start picking out these backlashes. And not a lot of them, you can't salvage your line. You end up having to cut out great chunks of your line or replacing the line altogether. And that's why I recommend you start off using monofilament and not braid when you're first starting to learn to use these things. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. Braid's expensive. Okay, but there is something on this reel that can help eliminate or help control, let's say, a backlash, and that's this dial here. This is the inertia transfer brake, and it's a series of magnets. And this dial, 10 is the maximum amount of magnets, and 0 is the minimum amount of magnets. Now, when you first start out, you're going to keep the thing no less than 8. This will help control the speed that this spool is spinning at. All right. As you get better, you can lighten up the magnets and have more spin, which gives you longer casts. Now, just let me show you. You can usually take these plates off. In this case, we're just going to pull this pin here. So there's the magnets. And you can adjust the dial to select how many magnets you want pressing on your spool here to help slow it down. The spool can also be popped out this way as well for cleaning, greasing, and also for tying your line. So let's put this back in and clip this back on. Simply just twist it back on, and there we are. We're back. We're back in business. Okay. So that is the inertia transfer brake. And I'll go through that too when I do the demonstration about where you would I should set it. It's simply a dial that you can twist back and forth to set how many magnets you want engaged on the spool. That's all. It's actually I shouldn't say that's all, it's actually a very important part of the reel. So that will assist you with controlling the rate of rotation of this spool once you cast. Okay? Now, another very important aspect of this, or feature of this reel, is this little thing right here. This is the line control, or wind level, or line leveling. Its function, you notice that when I'm turning, it's going across the face of the reel and back again, is to wind your line back on the spool here evenly. On a spinning reel, the reel pops up and down for that feature. This is so the line is even. It goes from left to right, right to left, can be reapplied back on the spool evenly. Otherwise, it will simply bunch up and the reel won't work properly. All right, so that is your wind level, or your level wind, or line control. And it's important that when you load your line, that it is threaded through that aperture right there. Otherwise, the reel will not work. Okay? So, to recap, low profile gets its name because how it's designed to be held in your hand just like that. Nice firm grip. This is great for speed and fan casting. All right. You have your double handle here. Again, these handles do not come off, so make sure that you check the packaging and check the reel to see what retrieve you have, left or right hand. We have the external drag, which is located here. This is a star drag. It can be simply adjusted by the same hand that you're using to crank, retrieve with. You can use your thumb or your forefinger to make the adjustments very quickly. We have here the line tension control knob, which is used for setting up the reel. Again, I will be going through that when I do the actual setup. Also here in this compartment here, all the washers for your drag system. Over here on the other side, we have the inertia transfer brake control dial, which is this right here. It goes from 10 is maximum to 0, where all the magnets are switched off, and the braking system is effectively switched off. All right. So these are all important parts of this fishing reel, initially designed for bass anglers, but it can be used for other species. So it's meant for accurate casting. It's meant for speed casting, and also you can use heavier lines, you can use heavier lures with a casting system, you can with a spinning system. They're meant for light lines, light lures, and they're also meant for casting distance spinners. You do get a little less on your casting here, but it's still a great reel to use. It just takes a little perseverance, practice, and patience to learn to use it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but believe me, when you do master it, it's a hell of a lot of fun. All right, so look forward to my second video on this reel where I show you how to set it up and what you have to do to learn to cast with this reel. So until the next time, thanks for watching. This is Sharon for Fishing Tales and Other Lies. I didn't say just fishing. I used to call my channel that years ago, but it's now Fishing Tales and Other Lies. Has been for a few years. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye for now.